Hey guys, I wanted to ask some questions, share some thoughts. Roe v. Wade, right, got struck down. Whether good or bad, I'm actually more interested in unintended consequences, and I'm not even talking about right necessarily coat hangers, right, where the typical unintended consequence goes. But let's take a step back. Right, 2000 hits, right? We've got a man-made virus that makes the entire world sick. Well, during this man-made virus that made the entire world sick, Pfizer alone, let's remind people that Pfizer is number one for medical payouts for medical injuries, and they made $35 billion on a single vaccine. They tried to mandate it through OSHA, right, through work, but there was nothing specific about or unique about working in America that made you an inherent risk. So let's now look at Roe v. Wade, right? In some approximate manner, Roe v. Wade says that hey, you've got bodily autonomy, and so you can then abort something that you don't want. Well, what happens if the government then says, well, hey, there's nothing unique about you working in America that makes you dangerous, but guess what? You're within our borders. Well, if you're going to breathe on me, well, that makes you dangerous. So guess what? You get this vaccine. Oh, that vaccine gave you a heart attack. Well, sucks to suck, doesn't it? Would have been nice to have some bodily autonomy, huh? And so that's kind of that's what I worry about. And then let's also, let just for the sake of argument, right? There's people like Alex Jones out there who say some pretty crazy things. And then there's a lot of evidence that suggests that, things like agent provocateurs are absolutely real things and suggests he's not quite as crazy as he thinks he is. And there's people that think that the mark of the beast might be some form of microchip or might be a barcode. Well, again, what's going to prevent the government from telling you to go pound sand? You've got no rights because you're going to get it because you ain't got no bodily autonomy. And so, if that's something that you don't want to happen, right? I'm not saying that you need to be pro or against abortion, right? But you got to understand that these are all intertwined because we've got deceitful people who are in government. Well, will go out of their ways to to create laws, not necessarily because they wake up trying to be evil, but because like there's interests that buy them off. Because Pfizer, who does not care if you get injured, will buy off the entire government, and then what? It's a profit motive, right? They don't look at you as a human; they look at you as a quarterly earnings report. And if that's all you want to be, hey, God put me on this earth to be a quarterly earnings report so I could get chewed up and spit out. Also, somebody at Goldman Sachs could buy their third wife a fourth Bentley. Hey, man, that's up to you. I mean, if that's how you celebrate life. I think there's more to life than that, though. And so, look, right? You don't have to like abortion to understand the importance of bodily autonomy. You don't have to believe in people who think the mark of the beast is a microchip or a barcode, and still appreciate bodily autonomy. And come on, guys, like this is not rocket science. Like, why do you think? Why do you think that we have people on corporate legacy media that constantly try to get you scared? Because if you're scared, well, guess what? Super easy to get you to hate. And if it's super easy to get you to hate, well, guess what? Human nature is as soon as you hate somebody or as soon as you make up your mind, right? It doesn't matter. Carl Sagan talked about this. As soon as somebody's bamboozled, they're so smitten by the bamboozle that they'll fight for it tooth and nail. It doesn't matter what the truth of the matter is at that point. So once you allow yourself to get bamboozled, you will fight tooth and nail to remain a prisoner. Is that what you want? I mean, that's what the Matrix is all about. I don't know. Who do you want to be in the Matrix? Right? Some rando just walking around, or do you want to maybe take a red pill? And not necessarily a conservative red pill that gets you, then acting as a libertarian, but just a sense of like, hey, wait a minute, do I actually have to believe what I'm told to believe? Do I need to be nothing more than a quarterly earnings report? Can I maybe have a little bit of grace and divinity and some value in my life? Like, is that something that perhaps I could reserve? Is that something that you could reserve? And, if we looked at each other like that, right? I'm a combat veteran, man, right? We said we don't leave Americans behind enemy lines. The second we get over here, go die in a fire. You think differently than me, die in a fire. It's like, man, we are so rude to each other. But because we're scared, man. We're scared. Until we can get past that fear, there ain't nothing we're gonna do about it. And legacy media, I mean, look, we're now at war with Russia. Why? Because some ridiculous lady said that there was a PP tape of Trump getting peed on by a hooker. I mean, she was so embarrassed that she lost to a carnival barker, man. And then now look at this. And so look where the lies and fear get us. And so look, you can um, disagree on abortion, but you can agree that bodily autonomy is good. And you know what? If we agree to disagree and still work together, I mean, come on, man. I mean, isn't that what every great civilization's been about? Our forefathers hated each other, and yet we herald the Constitution, and yet now we expect that everyone to work together, or else you're evil. Like, grow up, grow up. And if we don't grow up, I mean, we're gonna ruin everything for our kids. I mean, look at how ridiculous things are, from riots to shootings to constant protests over control over things that aren't even real. I mean, did you know that Barack Obama deported more Hispanics than Donald Trump? Oh my gosh, I must be a racist because I said that, right? I mean, come on, man, it's in the data. If you go back and look at the data, guess what? Guess what the headlines say? That the immigrant detention facilities were being stocked at record pace because Obama was filling them, and then we just didn't know about it. Why? Because he's a great speaker. We didn't want to hear about it. But you know who isn't a great speaker, and so we did hear about it? Donald Trump. And so if you're afraid, Trump is not a good guy. Don't get me wrong. I'm not like the guy who stole every single penny from Stop the Steal. Right? That disgusts me. Right? That's somebody again who took advantage of a bunch of fearful people. And so all these people are gross. So if you're afraid, man, you'll just get taken advantage of. I mean, come on, let's work together. We can be Americans, right? Can we be can we be proud of the fact that we had people who hated each other that came together to create a better future? Can I think that you're an idiot and still work with you? Like, is that really an impossibility? I mean, I don't see why. But anyway, thanks.